Hello and welcome to the Collapse Experiment. Don't mind the cheap Dollar Tree sunglasses. Everything is white, the sun is out, I am outside, and my eyes really hate days like today. I like being out in it, they do not. Toxic people in the workplace. You know them. You probably know who they are. If you don't, it might be you. So, every place I have ever worked, there's been issues with somebody who was toxic. A lot of this is someone, female, who walks around collecting information, distributes information, usually not the same thing that they heard, goes to management over things that they heard that so-and-so said to so-and-so in passing outside of work in a foreign country. Oh yes. Toxic people. People who are basically bored. That's what it comes down to. So one example I have is the first library that I worked at. There was this older woman there. And of course, because nobody fucking talked to me ever to fill me in on who was who and what was what, and I had to figure everything out on my own, of course, you figure it out the hard way. So, one day, I'm doing my job. I go into this locked office. A locked office, separate from the rest of the building, where this person and a security guard, because their office was in there too, were in there chatting about a recent position that was filled in-house. Now, I happen to know a lot about it. It was in the teen room. There actually was somebody that I knew who had that exact same position over a year before. Now, when they created this job prior, it was with knowing that it could be temporary, right? This wasn't a permanent full-time position with benefits and all that. But no, over a year later, the same exact job gets posted, except this time it's full-time, it's got set hours, you get the healthcare benefits, like the whole shebang, right? So this other person that I knew, who had done this job previously, she's like, oh, I'm pretty sure I could freaking get this. I've already done it. They don't even have to train me. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer at this point. But that is not how this place operates, right? So, there was, I think, like 4 people who applied or bid or whatever the hell the term is for this job. And they all had qualifications. But 1 out of the 4 had actually done the job before. And they were afraid they weren't going to get it because they were like, you know, they took it away from me beforehand and moved me to this other stupid part-time job. And now this is a full-time job, which I already know how to do, and I've been here 10 years. Yeah. So I actually helped this person because I used to do the interview process over at the hospital before I worked for the library. And I said, hey, I can run you through some questions that they usually ask and blah, blah, blah. That way you kind of know what's coming and you can have your answer ready. And so we did that. I would pass by and say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Common question, right? And by the time we were done, she had her answers set. She knew what exactly the people wanted to hear. She goes and she interviews. She comes back, says it went really well, that they liked her answers, and everything seemed to be pretty cool. And she's like, I already got the experience. And I'm like, it should be a shoo-in. But no. There was one person who recently had announced that she was preggo, not married, baby daddy in the life, but not living together, not married. Already had one kid together. Never had worked that job before, ever. Never worked a desk job. So they come back and they say, yeah, preggo. The job goes to preggo. Not because they're the most qualified, but because, well, she's pregnant. That shit's expensive. Let's give her some health insurance. It sounds all nice, but no, it's not about her. It's so that they feel good about themselves. So anyways, I was asked about this whole situation in this locked office, separate from the rest of the building. A private environment between coworkers. And I said, well, this is who I think should have gotten it. They were the most qualified. And the only reason so-and-so got it is because she's preggo. Which, these two people, the security guard and toxic Avenger woman, are standing there nodding their heads like, oh, that's what we were saying. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And I go about the rest of my shift. And this is the only people I had this conversation with. I talked to nobody else about this. So a few days later, I get called to my boss's office. He's like, yeah, so we're being told that you're talking about so-and-so getting the job in the teen room. And I'm like, well, I know who you're hearing it from because there's only one person I talk to. At that point, I was basically told that I should just keep my mouth shut and that she was concerned that it would get back to this other person about what I thought about her getting the job, which, who gives a fuck? And I looked at him and said, so I'm in a locked office talking to these two people. They asked me the question. I didn't volunteer this opinion. I was asked for it. And the only person who bothered to spread around and talk about what I had said is the same person that talked to you. So if they're worried about anybody hearing about this, maybe they should keep their dumb fucking mouth shut. Then he reiterated that I needed to keep my mouth shut, and that basically my opinion was not welcome there. And that if word should get to said person, preggo, who got the job, that I could be looking at disciplinary action because somebody else talked. I'm pretty sure this is like textbook workplace harassment. Not just from toxic work Avenger lady, but even from my boss. Like, where is he going? Why the fuck are you talking? You had a private conversation with the coworker No one else has heard this except it's coming from you, the one person he talked to. Shut the fuck up. But no, nobody had any balls. Everybody was fucking neutered. Everyone. Bunch of fucking eunuchs, lesbians, rainbow colored haired people. Later on, there was some alleged transgender. I'm going to say alleged because I think the dude's full of shit and just wanted some bonus points for getting a good job. So the other example I have is at one of my current jobs where the exact same thing is happening. Not with me though, no. There's one coworker I have. I've been here 29 and a half years. And she loves to talk shit about her coworkers. There's one in particular where I'm like, one day somebody's gonna hear the wrong thing and you're going to be fucking fired and out the door. Because she's always going on about this one coworker who is, for definition's sake, obese. Okay? Some would say morbidly obese. Not a healthy situation. But this woman was hired. From what I can tell, she does her job. And yet her coworker, I've been here 29 and a half years, is constantly talking to the other people that she works with before this person comes in, a person of size, if you will, talking shit about how she can't do her job, she can barely make it to her desk. Oh my God, why doesn't she just do something about it? It's not healthy. She's gonna die so young. It's gonna be so tragic. Could you just mind your own fucking business? Seriously. Are you helping? Are you? And every time I hear this, which is a few times a week, by the way, I just think to myself, like, one day somebody's gonna go to the boss and say, so-and-so said this about so-and-so. Sounds like some workplace harassment to me. Just keep in mind, people who medically challenged or differently abled, perhaps she has some type of thyroid condition. I don't know. But the point is, it's none of her goddamn business. Is she keeping you from doing your work? Never heard that. She's supposed to be helping me with this, but she can't even physically do it. Supposed to be helping you. Is that in the job description? Is this something that maybe you should go to the boss about and say, hey, I'm behind on this. Can you get so-and-so to do this? And if they can't, maybe there's an issue. Or perhaps you just keep your fucking trap shut, do your goddamn job so that you don't have to be asking for help, because guess what? If you kept your fucking trap shut and just worked like you're supposed to, you wouldn't have to ask for help. Toxic people in the workplace. They are everywhere. Everywhere. Quite frankly, I'm tired of it. And The Toxic Avenger was a horrible movie too. So it's so fitting for that one chick. Keep on tight.